Today's Chiefs Report is presented by Manscaped. You want to be feeling nice and fresh downstairs this holiday season, don't you? Well, products from Manscaped going to help you do that, especially the Lawnmower 4.0. I've got it right here. Big fan of this product. Going to keep you nice and smooth downstairs. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code Chiefs. That is 20% off at manscaped.com, promo code Chiefs. We'll tell you a little bit more about the lawnmower later on in the program. Let's go to Freddie Martinez kicking off this mailbag. Do you think we will win out? I think we actually have the remaining Chiefs schedule graphic made. We can go to that. We'll get that on screen here in a second. I mean, odds are the Chiefs will probably slip up at least once, maybe even twice. You look at the schedule here. I'll just go game by game, right? Rams at home, you should win that game. Stafford's probably not even going to play. At the Bengals, I mean, I think that's the one, right? They beat you twice last year, regular season and that meltdown in the AFC title game. That's the game I'm looking at. Denver, they're a joke. At the Texans, bigger joke. Seahawks at home, I mean, it's at home, but Seattle's been sneaky. That could be a trap game. Broncos at home. And then at the Raiders, maybe you've clinched the number one seed, could lose that game. But I think at Bengals is the one, right? You look at this, it's clearly that's the game. If you're going to slip up, that seems like the most likely one. You get through that one, you could definitely win out and go 15-2. Wally with the question, should we go after a wide receiver next year in the draft or a running back? I mean, go for both, right? I mean, you have you're going to have a decent amount of draft picks, a couple extra from that Tyreek Hill trade too in the middle rounds. You know, I was talking to a buddy about this. I know the Chiefs took Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round, and that was not worthwhile. But I would be semi-tempted to trading up for Bijan Robinson to put him into this offense. Like, you got Bijan Robinson in this offense with all the other pieces, and I know I like what Pacheco's doing, so I don't think the Chiefs would do it. But, man, there's no weaknesses at that point. Absolutely no weaknesses. But I don't think they'll draft it back in round one. I could see like a mid-late round pick at running back, which you should do every year anyway. And then receiver, yeah, depending on what happens with JuJu and Mecole Hardman, who are both free agents, yeah, that could be a position to add a piece. Kelly Uphouse, how long do you think Toney will be out, and do you think the Chiefs will trade CEH? Well, trade deadline's passed, but if you're talking about an offseason trade, I mean, what are you going to get for Clyde? I mean, conditional 6th, 7th? I mean, he's a rotation back. Those don't really have draft value. Maybe you get a late conditional, but if they want to try that, I'd be fine with that. I think there's a good chance he's not on this team next year. Don't know how long Toney will be out. I'll call him day-to-day for now, but hopefully he's back out there soon. Corny Collins says, who scares you more, Bills or Bengals? It's an interesting question because obviously the Bills have yet to beat you in a high leverage game. They've won at Arrowhead 2 years in a row in the regular season, but you know, it's one thing to win a game in October versus January, right? And the Bills have not proven to be able to beat the Chiefs in those big January, February type of matchups. Despite what happened last year with the Bengals beating the Chiefs twice, I do still think Buffalo is a bigger threat, though. Despite everything I just said, despite, kind of the history of it, I would much rather face Cincinnati in a high-leverage game than Buffalo, just because as good as Burrow is, Allen's more dynamic, and that Bills defense is better, in my opinion. So that is how I feel. Cincinnati's dangerous, though, and they know they can beat the Chiefs. They've done it in the playoffs to go to a Super Bowl. So I do think these are two teams that you potentially may have to get through both come playoff time. Now, who do you guys think is the scarier team? Type BUF for the Buffalo Bills, type CIN for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll still lean Buffalo. They did beat you a few weeks back, but Cincinnati's obviously a scary team as well. They're very capable with Joe Burrow. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because we post daily Chiefs videos here on the channel for 100% free. Hit that sub button, turn on the notification bell. That way you never miss a video here on the Chiefs Report. We're trying to get to 34,000 subs. Make sure you do not miss any of it. The real Chiefs fan, and then we'll get to that super chat. He says, Pacheco has potential to be a top 10 running back. Great vision, has some great bursts around the corner. Future of this backfield. He really looks the part. I know I just said the whole Bijan Robinson thing, but if Pacheco finishes this year strong, he's your guy. He's the lead back moving forward. There's no doubt. I mean, he's 6 foot, 205 pounds, and he runs a sub 4.4. He's got all the tools, attributes to be a great back. Now, he has to improve as a pass blocker, but that that's something that's true for most young running backs. Like, not many people come to the league like Zeke Elliott, and they're great in pass pro. You gotta work on those things. But I think his vision's gotten better. His burst has been there all season. I like what I've seen from Pacheco. Ryan with the super chat, appreciate that. What would a contract look like for Orlando Brown? A contract? I don't know, man. I think Orlando's played a little better the last couple weeks. This is starting to feel like last year, where the first half of the season you're like, guys, up and down. At moments he looks like an elite left tackle. At other moments he looks like a fringe starter. But now all of a sudden, second half of the season, after the bye week, he's had a couple of nice games here. I don't know. If he finishes this year really strong, I mean, $18-20 million per year, something like that, he wants to be the highest paid left tackle. I don't think he's played up to that level, not consistently enough. So you can franchise tag him for $20 million for a second year. It was 16 this year, it'd be 20 next year, so I think it's possible. Kevin Gonzalez, favorite for Super Bowl on the AFC side. I'm going to go with the Chiefs, I know the Bills beat them in Arrowhead, but the Chiefs control their destiny in the AFC playoff picture, and you got to prove you can beat Kansas City at Arrowhead in the playoffs. Bengals did it last year. They deserve credit, but they've been inconsistent this year. I think at this exact moment in time, you've got to give the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt. They've been there. They've done that. They've gone to 4 straight AFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. So I think they're the favorite. They've got the MVP at quarterback right now. So I think Kansas City is the favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Shout out to Manscaped for sponsoring today's show. And, hey, the Lawnmower 4.0 this holiday season, it's going to make sure you don't have a silent night, because there is nothing more scary for a female when you're getting frisky and then, things happen, clothes come off, and, there's hair everywhere, no bush. That is the theme here with Manscaped. You got to get rid of that. The Lawnmower 4.0 here from Manscaped. You look at this thing. It's a great-looking tool, and it's got 4 adjustable guards. You can get 20% off with code Chiefs. You can use it in the shower because it's water resistant. It's got a wireless charging station, which you can see right there. It's just a great product. I used to hate shaving downstairs because all that razor burn, that tug, and all that crap, it's really, really uncomfortable. Not with Manscaped. They've got great products. I never have any fears or worries when I use the Lawnmower 4.0. Been using mine for well over a year now. And, hey, in that time, my wife and I, she got pregnant. So, you put 2 and 2 together there. Don't have a silent night this holiday season. Oh, and by the way, Manscaped products, perfect stocking stuffer. You can take this out of the box, put it in the stocking. If you have a son or for your dad or whatever, any males in your life, it's a perfect holiday gift. Promo code Chiefs gets you 20% off at checkout when you go to manscaped.com. That link and promo code in the description of this video. Go check out Manscaped. They will not let you down. Shout out JJ Hackett with the super chat. Can the Chiefs beat the LA Rams? I mean, yes. I'd be disappointed if they didn't. This is not the Rams of old. They're beat up. Matthew Stafford, even when he's played, his arm looks shot. I think there's a lack of interest now that they've lost a lot of games here. So the Chiefs really should go beat the Rams by 2 touchdowns next Sunday. They should take care of business pretty easily. Zach, who would you rather bring back next year, Mecole Hardman or Juan Thornhill? It's a really good question. If I had more clarity on Kadarius Toney, I would easily say Thornhill. But I don't know. I still think Mecole Hardman can have a role here, even if Toney's here. Jet sweep game. Just because Toney can do that doesn't mean Hardman can't and isn't worth bringing back. I think he's improved as a route runner this year. That's something we criticized him for years. I think he's gotten better at it. He's twitchy. He's explosive. I like Juan Thornhill. I don't know what he's going to command in a contract. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, because you also have Brian Cook waiting in the reins, a second, third-round rookie there who's played a decent amount this year. Is he ready for a bigger role? Perhaps. So we'll see. I think both guys could be back. I think both guys could be gone. It'll just depend on money and what Brett Veach decides to do. Mike Tilson, Mahomes has to be the MVP frontrunner. Do you think he wins it? He's the clear frontrunner right now. He leads the NFL in passing and passing touchdowns. After Sunday Night Football, he now has 28 touchdowns throwing through 10 games. So He's right around that 50-ish range right now, maybe like 47, 48. He's on pace. I think he's actually on pace to set the passing yards record in a single season. He's almost 5,600 pace, so he's been phenomenal. Josh Allen's had a good year, but he's lost a couple of weird games as of late. Jalen Hurts, he's been a nice story, good year, but come on, let's be real. Like Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, who's been the better player? Who is the more valuable player? It's clearly Mahomes. So, yeah, I think he's the front runner, and I do think he'll win it unless he has an injury or just falls off a cliff, which nothing in his career would suggest that would happen. Shout out your favorite Chiefs player, current or all-time. It does not matter. You can even do both. You can shout out your current favorite and your all-time favorite if you want to. I'll be reading your comments, so I'll be curious to see what names are dropped. Shout out your favorite Chiefs player ever. Can be current or all-time. Tony Fuentes, if we get OBJ, will we go to the Super Bowl? I think they have a good chance with or without him, but I think he's someone who could help. He could be an X factor in a playoff game potentially. He could be a guy that makes some big catches, when the game's hanging in the balance. You can't ever have enough weapons. It's kind of like defensive coaches always say, you can't have enough pass rushers, can't have enough corners, because you just need as many as possible. So I think that bringing Beckham in could only help, and if for some reason he doesn't fit into the locker room, you can cut him. No big deal. Terry Singleton, do you think the Chiefs will rest JuJu and Toney to get them ready for the Bengals? It's possible. If you're comfortable – I'll say this. If Matthew Stafford has no chance of playing in this game against the Chiefs, then I would – if guys are on the fence health-wise, I would rest them, because Mahomes and these guys can beat the Rams even if it's, Justin Watson, Sky Moore, and MVS playing with Kelsey. Like, they'll get through this game, especially if Stafford's out. Obviously, you can't afford to lose this game because you're only a half game up on teams like the Dolphins and the Bills and Tennessee and so forth. But you could afford to rest some guys if Stafford does not play. Appreciate all the questions here. If you have more, you can DM me on Twitter or Instagram. @HGramNFL is the handle for both platforms. I'm an open book. Chiefs questions, hit me up. @HGramNFL on Twitter and on Instagram.